Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Whatever the I Want podcast, where I, your host, Gabby, get to talk about whatever the I want. And today's episode is going to be about spending time alone. I have been in several relationships where you just kind of like lose yourself. I feel like that tends to happen to a lot of people when they're in relationships. You just kind of like want to be with the person all the time, and you don't really spend any time by yourself, like having hobbies or doing things. You're just like, let's hang out. Let's hang out. And it's through that separation, through that time apart, where you actually get to like miss each other, and you get to find creative ways whenever you do spend time together, that way you're not just like sitting down watching TV all the time. You try to like actually have dates compared to like just hanging out. You know what I mean? I also want to say that spending time alone does not necessarily always mean like when you're in a relationship. These are things that you should be doing regardless, even in the pockets of your day. So I remember I was asked twice by two different people if I was willing to go to Louisiana for a birthday celebration, and somebody else asked if I wanted to go to Vegas for a birthday celebration. And of course I wanted to, but I really had to sit with myself and reflect. And I'm not even kidding when I say I sat and I meditated and I really reflected as to, would I be going for them, for the experience? Would I be overexerting myself? And the answer was, I would be overexerting myself. I was not given ample time to budget. So it just doesn't really make sense for me to go. Because I used to be the type of person that's like, here's an event to go to, and I'm like, I'm there. I remember in college, I would overexert myself by going out several times a week. I'd go to bars, I'd go to clubs, just because a friend would ask me like, hey, do you want to go? And I remember being so exhausted all the time, because it was not only school and extracurriculars. It was like, then now my nighttime, my only time that I really have to myself is now spent with friends, with people, with drinking and going out and staying up late, and then just repeating it all over the next day. And you don't really realize just how draining that is on your mind, body, and soul. So whenever you are spending time alone, make it be very, very intentional. You can even say an intention. Today, I'm going to spend 2 hours alone. I'm going to put my phone away, and I just want to write. Or I just want to spend that time practicing my singing. I want to spend that time painting. And what I also like to do, I'll just have like Alexa or Google just play music. That way I'm not going to my phone to like, change a song or something, and then you somehow wind up on an app. So I like to, honestly, I'm the type of person who cannot have my phone just laying around. I don't know if it's because of my mom. She would always be like, are you on your phone? Are you on your phone? Are you texting? When I was a teenager. And so I always hide my phone in like blankets or like underneath pillows or underneath anything that's around me. Because I would hide it from her. That way she wouldn't know that I was on my phone. But now I have to do it because if I just see that my phone is around me, I want to grab it. It's one of those out of sight, out of mind things. I have to physically hide my phone away from me, or else I will want to grab it. It's just like oh my gosh, I see it, I want it. And I don't know if it's like that for everybody else. Like, because it's there, you want it. Like, I do have self-discipline when it comes to like snacks. Like I can have chocolate in the house and only eat it whenever I want it. But for some reason, when it comes to like technology, that's where it's hard for me to decipher whether or not I want to grab it or if it will benefit me. Another thing that I do when I'm alone is I really like to journal. I feel like that is, obviously I can journal around people. I journal when I'm in the airport. I do travel a lot because I go home to visit Like I'll be going home this weekend, which I'm really excited about for one of my cousin's baby showers. And she's one of the best people in the entire world. And I'm so excited to go there to celebrate her and the baby boy that she's growing inside of her, and as well as her husband. I love her husband. So I'm just excited to go celebrate them. But again, you have to recharge yourself. You can't be leaving the house like extremely tired, overexerted, highly caffeinated. It's these bad habits that you have that are consistent, because a lot of people are consistently having bad habits. You have to learn how to break those, because if you don't, you're just going to be living in this lifestyle until one day you're going to be like 60 years old, and then you're going to finally like have an epiphany and wake up. Learn this stuff now. If you know that you can't have your phone around you, put it away. If you know that you are more creative when you're alone, okay, carve out that time to be alone. If you know that you really want to practice your Spanish, join a Spanish club. My cousin Jenny had a friend / coworker who was, I would say older, middle-aged, like she definitely was like over 50, who was widowed and loved K-pop and the Korean language so much that she joined a club to speak the language and to be a part of the community. And that's the way you're supposed to do it, right? Like you're supposed to really immerse yourself into these things. And I think that she learned that by being alone, because you know that whenever you're alone, you have these callings, right? You have these moments where you come to and things kind of click into place where you're like, oh, I really should be doing this. Oh, I really have to do that one thing. I've been saying that for so long. Like it really gives you the space to like reflect and to really, really think about what matters to you. Because whenever you're constantly on your phone, even if you're just reading the news, you're getting all this language, all this feedback, all of these things from external things around you. And that's not necessarily who you are, who you want to be. And yeah, I challenge you to spend some time. Start off with 10 minutes. 10 minutes, phone put away, being entirely alone and just thinking, writing things down. Like when it comes to getting into a meditative state, it's something that used to be really tough for me. I don't necessarily meditate as much as I would like to now, but you definitely want to set the ambiance. So I like to light incense. I like to play high vibrational sounds. I really like Alan Watts. I can share some playlists that I have. I have a manifesting playlist. I have a meditation playlist. And that one I also use for yoga. When I do yoga, I like to listen to very, very calming music, things that just, I guess, like things that lower your heart rate, because when you're in a high state of stress, your heart rate is high and you're like, I gotta go, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Oh my God. And I remember my mom used to be like that growing up. My mom was in a high state of stress. And for a lot of people, it looks different. So like when it comes to me, when I'm in a high state of stress, I am not eating and I break out a lot. And I remember hearing that acne was caused oftentimes by stress. And you're like, I don't really believe that. Or, I don't think that this applies to me. Like, I don't think that I'm stressed. And then once you finally learn how to calm your nervous system, it's so easy for you to pick up on whenever you are stressed. Like it can be like somebody texting you like, hey, can we have a conversation? Or hey, can we talk? Are you available? Instantly it's like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I upset them. But, it's important to not allow what people say to influence you. There's a quote that says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And I used to think like, no, but what they said disappointed me, or what they said made me mad. It's because of them that I feel this way. And while those conversations or experiences can trigger emotions, it's important to reflect on why those triggers happened. That way, over time, through practice, through repetition, it no longer triggers you anymore. Things that used to trigger me even a year ago don't trigger me now. And how? It's been through practice. It's been through a lot of crying. It's been through a lot of reflecting and a lot of journaling and talking things through, trying to figure out, where does this stem from? How can I move past this? And how can I not allow these things to define me? Because your past traumas, your past experiences, they do not define you. If you identify as somebody who is, oh, I'm just always stressed out. Well, baby girl, then you're always going to be stressed out. Why? Because that's the narrative that you're writing for yourself. You've got to rewire your brain and rewrite your story. If you're constantly saying, I'm broke, I can't go. Okay, girl, then you're going to stay broke and you're not ever going to go and live and experience things. Rather than saying, I'm broke, I can't, say, I just have other priorities. I can't go to brunch this weekend. I just have other priorities right now. I can't go to brunch this weekend. I'm doing a no-buy challenge. I can't go to brunch this weekend. I'm really trying to eat healthier, or I want to try a new recipe at home. You don't necessarily have to phrase things in a negative way, because then that just reiterates these negative things, these negative patterns and negative thoughts into your brain. You need to work on rewriting your story. Yeah, I used to struggle with, money. I used to struggle with relationships. Used to. And it's hard to be like, oh man, well, I'm not in a relationship now, or, my bank account isn't looking the way I want it to look, or whatever. But this is why gratitude comes into play, because it's like, oh, I can't see you for brunch, but why don't you come over and let's do a puzzle together? Or let's have a girls' night. There's so many things that you can do that don't cost money and that are so very fun to do. Going to the library, going to the park. If you already have these subscriptions, have a little movie night with your friends. You probably already have snacks in your pantry, or go to the dollar store. Nobody's telling you that you need to go to Publix and spend $6 on a popcorn thingy. Like, go to the dollar store and get you some snacks, because it is so... You don't have to be living this lifestyle and like upkeep with these people who are probably in debt anyways. I used to think like, oh my gosh, how does this one person afford all of these things? Like, I'm like, they're a teacher, but they somehow have new shoes for every event, a new outfit for every event. And somebody ended up telling me, a close family member of theirs was like, oh, they just return everything. They order something online, wear it for an event, and return it. And, here I am outside looking in saying like, oh my gosh, but they have all these things. And it's like, but they don't. They're trying to have a lifestyle that they can't afford. And my parents always told me, live below your means. And I didn't really know what that meant. And now, as somebody who is trying to be more money savvy and, trying to understand money more, because they don't really teach you much in school, you're kind of like, oh, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Oh, because you get a credit card and then you're like, huh, this is nice. I want this. I want this. I want this. I think we have all at some point gotten a little credit card happy, and you gotta stop that, because you're buying all these things to try to make you happy, to try to like look cool, or to have these things. And it's okay to want things. I'm not saying don't want things. It's okay to, but ask yourself, is it a need? Do I need to go to this trip to Louisiana for my friend's birthday for them to know that I love them and care about them? No, I don't. So why am I going to put myself in a situation where I don't feel like it's beneficial for me? Like, I'm sorry. I don't know if that is like a little rough to hear, but it's like, why am I going to do something for you that's at the expense of myself? I pour into people who pour into me. I've had several people in my life do this exact situation. Texting, hey Gabby, oh, are you still with so-and-so? Oh, are you still living here? Oh, are you still da-da-da? Okay, I reply, yeah, this is what's happening, updating them. How are you doing? What's going on in your life? No response. Hey Gabby, hey, are you still doing this? Are you still doing that? Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Da-da-da. How are you? No response. This has happened now several times with family members and friends who will reach out to me, get information, and then not reply. And cut that shit out. Cut it out. I had to learn the hard way that there's a lot of people who surround themselves with you. I said this in a previous episode, but they take your energy. They take things from you. And then they make you feel like shit because it's like, this is supposed to be a give and a take. A give and a take. And it's through those moments of silence where you can really reflect and be like, oh, damn, they were using me. Damn, all they wanted was this. I have a family member who who borrows clothes from my sister and I. You know, we're all girls. We share clothes. I have no problem sharing clothes. And for several trips, you know, she would go to our house. Okay, cool. Go to our house, you know, like look through our closet. I don't care. And she made a comment saying, oh my gosh, y'all haven't bought any new clothes. You don't have anything for me to wear. I'm sorry, is my closet supposed to be dedicated to you and your events? It was a comment that rubbed me so wrong. And it was very hurtful because it's like, first of all, you don't know anybody's situation. Secondly, if you wanted a new outfit that damn bad, go to the store. Why are you here? Spend time alone. And whenever you have the energy, spend it with people who make you feel good about yourself. Fill that time with people who you know will ride for you, who have your back, who love you, and who support you, whether you're up or whether you're down. Because whenever you're down and some of those people you look around, they're not there, that'll truly tell you who your real ones are. Because whenever you're up, hey girl, what's up? Hey, you want to hang out? Hey, da-da. Everybody wants to be your friend whenever you're up. But whenever you're down, colors really show. And I have had some friends pull through for me. Even my sister. My sister has had my back through thick and through motherfucking thin. Like, I will ride for her. And she has shown me that she will ride for me. And I'm fortunate enough that my sister is my best friend. And I have a lot of other really good friends and really good people in my life who have shown me that they're there for me. And it's in their moments of vulnerability, their moments of lowness, where you can show up for them. Remember, things are give and a take. And that's why being alone is good, because it's like you learn what you can give. No, I can't hang out tomorrow. I don't have the mental capacity for it. I have a friend who actually just called me randomly yesterday. We hadn't talked on the phone in years, and it was a nice surprise. And, she was talking to me about somebody that she was seeing and how this person will just like ghost her, right? They'll ghost her, ignore her messages and things like that. And when people show you their true colors, when people show you that you're not a priority, and I'm not saying that like friends can't be busy, like give people grace, like people have lives, people have work, people have things to do. But if they don't at least send you a little text like, hey, I saw your call. Hey, sorry, I've been busy. As long as there's communication, which communication is the key to everything. As long as there's communication, there's no problem. But whenever you're being ignored, whenever you're being bypassed, whenever you're being overlooked, I'm sorry, but that's a no for me. That's a bye. It was nice knowing you. I learned my lesson. Because sometimes people are in your life for a reason or for a season. And that's it's a tough thing, because I was like, oh, I can be friends with my exes, like we can be friends. We were friends before. And I do think that like potentially, we were to see each other in a space, I don't think there would be any animosity, anything like that. But I do think that like, you learned what you needed to from that relationship. You don't have to be buddy and friends with everybody that you meet. And being an extrovert, I'm like, yeah, everybody's my friend, and and I overshare, and it's like, yeah, I share what I want to share, and I do overshare, but that doesn't mean that I allow everybody to have access to my personal time, to my space, to my activities. Like if I were to just up on a plane and take a trip, I'm not going to just invite everybody. I'm going to invite the people who make me laugh so hard that I start crying. I'm going to be with people who offer me their shoulder whenever I need somebody to lean on and a shoulder to cry on. But again, you don't know these things until you're spending time alone. So whenever you're in the car, turn off the music. I dated somebody who was constantly playing music. I mean, down to the point when they would use the bathroom, take a shower, constantly listening to music. And I literally remember thinking to myself, how do you listen to music so much? Like, I feel like I can't hear myself. Little did I know that they were highly depressed, like severely depressed, highly anxious, and they didn't want to hear their thoughts. And I was like, oh, something clicked in me. Like, you don't want to hear what's going on inside. And I'm not saying that your brain is always nice to you. It's not always nice to you. But that's why you got to spend time being positive, being optimistic. Because if you do that 80-90% of the time, that's drowning out the 10%. You got to have a higher percentage of good, positive things that are happening in your life. And it'll drown out all the negative. If you're constantly focusing on the negative will grow. The negative will get bigger. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. They have those new shoes. Oh, that new Gymshark launch. I wish I had that. Keep wishing. Keep wishing, because if you're going to stay in that low vibrational state, you're going to just continuously think like that. You are abundant. You have so much. And you deserve to be alone. Being alone is not a bad thing. I used to think, at least for me, I used to think like, oh, you're single. Like, wow, I must suck. And whenever I was single, yeah, I mean, you can get a little lonely sometimes, but it was fun. I had a great time being single. You can go out dancing whenever you want to dance. You can go hang out with friends anytime you want. Like, that's your time to pour into yourself. And so I hope that your takeaway from this is to pour into yourself, to spend some time alone, and to drown out all of the noise around you. That way you can know and understand what is right for you and to help you in your decision making. You don't have to give people an excuse. Your no means no, and people have to respect that. So again, spend some time today with some silence and really just see what comes to the surface, and listen to that and do something to help you reach your goals. Have a wonderful day and know that you are so loved. Mwah.